Hello, my gentlemen and my gentle ladies. It's Jenny, obviously, and I just recently finished Crypt Custodian, the playthrough of it on my channel, all the way until the credits. It is a game by Kyle Thompson that was released in August of 2024, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the story and my take about it. This is a spoiler review of the game. If you'd like to hear a no spoiler review of the game, that goes over gameplay, mechanics, and more, I have another video solely for that, so go check that out. And if you like this video, then I would greatly appreciate a subscribe and a like, and maybe follow along the channel. You can also watch the full up to the credits gameplay on my channel in multiple parts. Now, let's get to the story of Pluto. Pluto, the Crypt Custodian. Pluto was a cat, living with a man and his wife. He lived a happy life, but one day, he unfortunately got out and got hit by a car, and he died. He goes to the afterlife. So the story goes, at the start, while learning the mechanics of the game, Pluto breaks some statues, and Kendra, a frog ghost who rules the afterlife apparently, does not like that and calls him a bad ghost. There are good and there are bad ghosts. Or are there? Being a bad ghost, he is banished to the outside of the castle and told to clean up trash for the rest of his life. Or for the rest of eternity, I guess. And so, Pluto leaves the castle, but not without plans to return. With the help of Marla, the barkeep, and Pebble, his new friends, Pluto begins to explore the afterlife. Pluto meets an array of different animals, including one very feisty cat named Grizz, who is digging a hole under the castle. Why? To break in. But why does he want in the castle? The mirror. There is a mirror that allows a ghost to revisit their life and see their loved ones, even if their loved ones can't see them. This is only for good ghosts inside the castle, and understandably, Grizz, and now Pluto, wants to see their old community, their old families, but they don't have enough people, so Grizz sends Pluto off to go find some more friends, 10 to be exact, including Grizz himself. And so, Pluto sets out. He scurries from land to land, from rainy swamps to strange basements and frozen lands, and he makes friends as he does. Along the way, you'll find pictures and memories for these friends. These pictures are like Polaroids, showing a brief bit on their lives of their friends and how they died to end up in the afterlife. Kendra, the frog ruler, pops in here and there to warn Pluto because she's sniffing around and happens to hear of this plot, but each time Pluto deceives her. Eventually, they have their 10 friends, and they break in. Pluto faces off the final boss, Kendra, and only Kendra. You see, Kendra steps up and asks what he's doing in her castle. She's the only one in the good castle. They fight. Pluto wins, but the castle begins to crumble. Pluto and his friends have to get out, but before they do, at the end of the crumbling castle is the mirror. They all go in, and that's when we see Pluto. Pluto crosses the street. He sees his family, a husband and wife, sleeping in bed. They can't see. He can see them. He lays down between them for one last cuddle. He falls asleep. At the end, we also in the credits get to see the different animals seeing their families. Grizz checks on his gang. Wayla gets to see his pack and howl with them one last time. It's a sweet ending, and they are free from Kendra's reign. Or are they? Pebble hears Kendra is west of the edge, but that is locked behind a gate, and that is something for you to unlock and find out for yourself. Now, let's really talk about this. I am an avid cat lover. Being an army brat, I moved every 2 years my whole life, and I always had a cat with me most of the time. They were my one friend, my one constant companion besides God. They basically became support animals for me, as friendships ended every 2 years. The end of the story hurt. It touched my heart. Seeing Pluto just want that one last cuddle made me cry. It made me want to go hug my cat Misa with all my strength and just give him the world. As a Christian, I always find the way that games and different media depicts the afterlife differently very interesting. I haven't really found anything to support that animals go to heaven. They don't have a soul, they don't have a spirit, God didn't breathe into them. We won't see them like we'll see our loved ones who also go to heaven, in heaven with us. And sometimes that's really hard to deal with, because I love my cats, and they mean so much to me. God gave me companionship to them that I couldn't have had because we moved so much. The end of the story really hit deep. But that's about all I can say. Kendra's bad motives were pretty easy to snuff out throughout her seemingly kind of random appearances. All of the stories of the various animals only get 3 pictures each, and these pictures only give us a brief look at their lives and how they died. That's it. Also, that one picture at the end in passing about what they did when they went through the mirror. You don't feel close to any of them. Maybe Pebble, but even that's a stretch. In the final battle against Kendra, they don't even help you. They're just like, oh, Pluto, you go on, we'll figure out how to move the mirror. And then I run into Kendra and these 10 friends that I supposedly gathered to be able to raid this castle are nowhere to be found while I'm defeating the final boss. And that's slightly annoying. And even for Pluto, you get the death at the start and the little bit at the end, but that's all for him. You don't really hear about his story or any about his life between those two from the start to the end of the story. It has no effect on the gameplay. The gameplay was good and all, but the story felt lacking in many ways because of that. I just wish that they had more to it. I think the various pictures of the animals' lives were a really cool idea, really cool concept, but I wish at least Pluto had some sort of growth about, or dialogue about his living days mixed into the stories, maybe talking about his owners, but just something mixed into the gameplay as a whole. The little sprucing up, the story sounds good, but it needs more. That is my take on the story of Crypt Custodian. Let me know if you've played it, or if you've watched videos of it, what you think of the story yourself. If you'd like, again, a more in-depth review of the gameplay and mechanics, you can find that video on my channel as well. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and the story of Pluto. That is Crypt Custodian, and you all have a very blessed day.